Yes. So to begin with, for those who are not very sure what IELTS exactly is. So IELTS is an exam that you have to give if you want to, study or work abroad. It depends on your need. So, and in IELTS, you have 4 categories: reading, listening, speaking, and writing. And today we are going to be looking at reading. And one of the most essential skill when it comes to reading is your skimming and scanning. And we're also going to be looking at one more skill today. So just, stay with me. So towards the end, when I tell you about that extra skill, it'll be really helpful for you. So for those who are not very sure about the reading test, your reading test will have 3 passages. You will have 1 entire hour where you will get to read these 3 passages and you will get to answer questions. So now when I say questions, you will have 14 different type of questions. You are not going to get all the 14 different type of questions, but you are going to get, a few of them. And today we are going to be looking at skills that will help you, focus on your answers. You will be able to find your answers quite easily. And you will also be able to eliminate the unnecessary words that generally, that are dropped into the IELTS passages just to confuse you. Yes. So those 2 skills are skimming and scanning. So has anybody heard of skimming and scanning before? Would one of you like to, explain what skimming and scanning on my behalf? Just a brief introduction. Anybody? Okay, looks like I have quite a shy audience today. So let me do it myself. So basically the first thing that you have to keep in mind is your time limit. One of the major drawbacks that you have when it comes to your reading is your, you don't have enough time. You have just 1 hour. You might feel I have 1 entire hour, but when you start practicing, you'll understand that 1 hour sometimes is not really sufficient. And it is crucial that you complete it in the specific time. You're not going to get any extra time. So it requires you to answer 40 questions in, 3 passages, like I mentioned. And these passages are about, say, 3,000 words. So imagine, reading 3,000 words in 60 minutes and answering the question. It's not going to be very easy. So skimming and scanning will help you achieve that, high score that you're aiming for. So while undergoing the test preparation, most of you might come across these terms, but, many of us are not very aware of these terms. And so we just let it be. But these are very essential skills, and it is very significant that you understand how to use them. So I'm continuously repeating skimming and scanning for those who are wondering what exactly this is. So skimming. So let's start with skimming. So skimming basically is, you reading the entire text or some large part of the text quickly in order to just get, the generic idea of it. So the best example here is to, take a newspaper. So what do you do while writing, while reading a newspaper? Anybody? Okay, so you don't generally read the entire newspaper, right? You read the, headlines, and if that interests you, then you go through the story. So this helps you cover every published news, in like 10 to 15 minutes. So this saves time. So similarly, when it comes to your, IELTS reading module, you are going to be given a long passage, and then there are going to be, questions related to that. So you need to find the right answer from the given passage. So this is where your skimming comes into use, where you take a quick look through the passage and then you understand what it is about. And that way you're able to understand the passage, more clearly, and you are able to identify your answers and your keywords easily. Okay. So when you're looking for some specific information, you have to scan. But right now, when you're not looking for any specific information, but you're just trying to understand the entire passage, then you skim. Basically an overview. Okay. So a few tips for skimming. If provided, please read the title of the passage. Okay, always start with the title of the passage. Read the topic sentence and the last sentence of the passage. It is very, very important. For those who's wondering what topic sentence is, basically when a passage is given, in the first sentence, first 1 or 2 sentences, you will be given an idea as to what the entire passage is going to cover. So always read your topic sentence and read the last sentence of the passage. Then circle or underline any important words that you feel that might be helpful when you're, giving your answers, when you're trying to select your answers. Next, note down titles, subtitles, headings. If given, just note them down, because these again will help you find your keywords later on. So these are certain things to remember while you're skimming. So next, jumping on to scanning. So scanning is a little different from skimming. For skimming, you generally read the entire passage to understand the gist of it, to understand what exactly the passage is trying to convey. Whereas for scanning, you are looking for a specific piece of information. For example, a name, an address, a place, or a date, something like that. Say, suppose you're looking for a particular contact in the telephone directory. Let's say Red Fox. So first you will search for the page where, there's this alphabet R, and then following, that method, then you are going to scan for a particular contact that you require. So the same applies for, your reading module as well, where you scan through first you skim through it, then you scan through your text to find keywords. Okay. So, however, scanning alone, will not really, help you find the correct answer. It only tells you where to look for the answer. So, a few things to remember while you're scanning. Again, read the title. So, when I'm insisting that you read the title so much, it is that important, and that is why I'm insisting that you read the title so much. So, read the title, and once you're done with that, you can, find the keywords. And now this is something that people or students, often forget. When you look for the keywords, you look for specific words. Don't do just specific words, but look for their synonyms as well. IELTS, the question paper is set in such a way that they just, they want to trick you. And so they will paraphrase all of your, sentences. They will mostly throw in synonyms there so that you get confused. So try and note the synonyms. Okay. Highlight the names and numbers if you find any. It's very important that you highlight names, numbers, addresses, dates, like I mentioned. Take action words into consideration. Here, by action words, I mean verbs, where, for example, some person is doing something, then take that into consideration, because that might be asked as a question. Okay. Mark the words that are repeated periodically in the passage. There might be certain words that, are repeated continuously. They're just trying to give you a clue as that word is important. So these will help you locate the right answer. Okay. And how you did for skimming, in the same way for scanning also, note down, headings, subheadings, or other relevant, important information. So this is what is, important. This is what is important, something that you have to keep in mind when it comes to skimming and scanning. So just, a small overview is that skimming is to understand the context of the passage, whereas scanning is to understand, or rather is to find the information in the passage. Okay. Okay. So before I, tell you about that next thing, does anybody have anything to ask me regarding skimming and scanning? Any questions? You can just drop them in the chat box. Okay, just drop them in the chat box, and maybe, later on I'll explain to you. Yes. So this is something new that you might be hearing of. It's called close reading. So pay attention, all of you. It's called close reading. So close reading refers to, deciding whether the answer is correct or no for the given question. So skimming and scanning are meaningless if you do not, or if you're not able to close read. Okay, there is no point of skimming and scanning if you're not able to close read and find the correct answer. So once you have completed your skimming and scanning, and you have a kind of an idea as to this is where my answer is. So before deciding whether the answer is correct or not, read the entire sentence or the passage carefully, paragraph. So read it and try to find out if it is grammatically sound, if it makes any sense. Okay, so this is exactly what is close reading. So a few things to remember while you're close reading is try to grasp the meaning of every word you read. Don't read just mindlessly. When it comes to, your reading in your IELTS, many people read very mindlessly. Don't do that. Read mindfully. Understand what exactly they're trying to convey in the passage. So this will help you, figure out the right answer. Take proper time to understand the gist of the text. Don't just, say, okay, this word is similar, so I'm just going to, drop this word there. Don't do that. Understand the gist of the text. Understand the context and the meaning that they've used certain words. and think carefully before you decide that this is the right answer. So either you can do that at the end, or at the end of all the 3 passages. Otherwise, you can do it at the end of every single passage. But always close read, so that you know that whatever answer is there is right. It's correct for whatever you've chosen. So these are the 3 things that I wanted to discuss with you today: skimming, scanning, and close reading. So before I explain to you how lessons work, is there something that anybody would like to ask me? Okay. So like you can see on the screen, this is how, your Red Fox Education lesson will appear. So you will have slides, and you will have, different topics that will be covered, like you can see. Yes. So this is how it will be covered, and whoever your tutor assigned to you will be explaining you, will be taking you through this entire, PPT, to the entire process. And you will also find, just a second, you'll also find videos from British tutors. So like you can see, I'm playing a video here.
Welcome to the first of our reading lessons.
So this way you will have British tutors, pre-recorded videos from British tutors with every lesson. You will have a minimum of 1 video at least, and you will also have homework, as in worksheets and assignments with every single lesson. This is, like I mentioned, this is how our Red Fox Education lesson works. Yes. So does anybody have any questions? Anything regarding Red Fox Education, regarding skimming, scanning, regarding close reading, or any other aspect of IELTS? Okay. So in case you want to subscribe to classes, or you want further information, mock tests, or even self-learning material, you can just check out the link that I've dropped in the chat box. And there's the link to the Facebook and Insta page. You can also find the link to our website, and you can also find a phone number in case you want to give us a call, or even send us a message on WhatsApp. Yes. So is there anything that anybody would like to ask me before we wind up? Okay, it was a lovely session, and I would like to see all of you maybe in classes, or if there's anything, please do just drop a message in our WhatsApp group, and we'll get back to you. Thank you. Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.